practical. So before that, I want to introduce no the Anaconda Navigator to you. Okay, so can open Jupyter Notebook in two ways. I'll tell you what are all the two ways now. All right. The first one is through Anaconda Navigator. So if you just search for Anaconda, you will find Anaconda Navigator. Please open Anaconda Navigator. So it will take few seconds to open that. Okay. See, so I have opened my Anaconda Navigator. Okay. Whenever you open, you get redirected to a page which look like this. So you will have different kinds of IDEs over here. You can use this prompt, you can use Jupyter Lab, you can use Jupyter Notebook. These are the different kinds of IDEs. Now I would like to use Jupyter. So if you click on launch, this gets opened in the local browser. This gets opened in the local browser. Did everyone open this, guys? Yes. So now, if you want to write a program in Jupyter Notebook, first of all, you have to create a notebook. How do you create it? Please click on new. Please click on new. Click on Python 3. Then your notebook is open. So this is how your notebook will be. All right. So first I'll introduce you to the UI of this notebook. Then I'll go for the second type of opening of Jupyter Notebook. All right. So first of all, I have created a Python file here, right? And I would like rename this. How can I rename? You can just click on this United 8, type 8, and you can just type the name that you would like to give to the notebook. I just gave it as Python June 10. All right. Now rename it. Rename it. Now this file should be saved in one of the drives. Yes or no? Okay. Where this is saved, for example, if you open this home page, you will find all the folders and the name which is the file which is created. So file name is Python June 10. If you scroll down, you can see Python June 10 file over here. But in the local system, what is the drive which is saved? So for that, what you have to do is, in this cell, just type P and press Shift Enter. PWD and Shift Enter. So whenever you press Shift Enter, this will get executed, and this gives the path where your Jupyter notebook is saving your files and Jupyter notebook is being opened. So that means this is in C drive, users, Pradeepti. Guys, is my voice not clear? Okay. So again, I'm telling you, the first way is to open Jupyter Notebook from Anaconda Navigator. For that, you just search for Anaconda. You'll get your navigator. Just click on that. That will redirect it to your Anaconda Navigator. So whenever whenever you open your Anaconda Navigator, you will find an option called Jupyter. Just click on launch. If you click on launch, the Jupyter notebook will be opened in the browser, local browser. Okay. So this is a drive where your Jupyter notebook is opened. All right. So here I want to create a new Jupyter notebook. How can I create a new Jupyter notebook? Is like you have to just click on new. As soon as you click on new and select Python 3, the file will be created. And if you want to rename the file, you can just directly rename by double clicking on the name of it. All right. Once that is done, now you want to see where your Anaconda navigator is working, in on which directory the Anaconda navigator is working, and where all your notebooks are saved. So for that, what you have to do is, in the cell, you just type pwd and just click on, just press shift enter. As soon as you press shift enter, you will find something, a path. So that means whatever the program that you are typing or you have created is stored in C drive, users, and Prads. So if you just open that C drive, users, and Prads, you can find the June 10 Python file. See, Python 10 June 10 IPYNB, and all Python files will be saved with the extension as .py, but the Jupyter notebook files will get saved with the extension IPYNB. So whenever you directly open this, let's suppose, let's take, I am opening it in, if I open it in the notepad, then it will be a mess. I'll not open it. But if you open in the notepad, you will find different kinds of things. All right, let's see. So if you just open that in a notepad, you'll get like this: cells, type, C, users, spread, something like that. Yes. So you should not open your IPNB files directly. You cannot open that directly. You have to open that in the local browser itself. So that means from here only. So whenever you open this, the file will be stored over here. Directly you just click on that, that will get opened. So if you directly open it, your IPYNB files will not get opened. So whenever you use Anaconda Navigator, the directory which is considered is C drive. C drive in the sense like wherever your Anaconda Navigator is installed, that directory will be selected. That directory will be selected if you open that from Anaconda Navigator. All right. Now, in Python, in this Jupyter notebook, the coding will be written in cells. So this is called as a cell, this is called as a cell, and another thing is called as a cell. So these are called as cells, and these cells are executed with the help of a kernel. This is called as a kernel. In the kernel, the cells will get executed. So you can make these cells as coding cells, or a cell where you can write your headings, or a cell where you can write some sort of description to the code. So how can you change this? For suppose I have selected this cell and I want to write some heading over here. This notebook is meant for Python basics. I just wanna execute that. So whenever I execute this, it says there is some sort of syntax error. Do you see this? Because the cell is the code cell. Now how to change that to the heading cell? Here you have something, right? Here you have something called code, right? There you put it as heading. Then as soon as you select that as heading, this cell becomes the heading cell. Now if you just press shift enter, that looks like a heading. All right. Now if suppose I want to write one line description about the project, so what I do, project in the sense like the code that you write here, I'm gonna perform addition operation in Python. Let's suppose this is a one line description. If you want to okay ma, so okay Maju, so if you want to make this as a description, select that as markdown. Now just press shift enter, so it becomes one line description. If suppose you want to include number of lines, I mean in a point wise, just click shift enter, everything got in a single line. But I don't want this to happen. Whatever the line I write, that should be created in that way itself. At that time, you make this as raw NBC convert. Then just click on shift enter. So this will show you the content in the way that you write. So this is what all about the code cell, markdown cell, raw NB convert and heading. Understood? So I am repeating it again, guys. For suppose I have written A is equal to 10, B is equal to 10, C is equal to A plus B. All right. Now I want to print C. Let's suppose this is a code. Okay. Okay. And I just execute this. So whenever I execute this, the addition operation is being performed. The addition operation is being performed. Okay. Now I don't want this cell to be worked as a code cell, or I'll just insert a cell above. Now this is my code cell. So if you select this cell and put this as code, that means you are writing some Python program in that cell. Python program in that cell. Now, I want to write a heading for this cell. A heading for this cell. So what I do in the above cell, I just make it as this is addition program. Now, whenever I click shift enter, it says invalid syntax because I make this as a code cell. In this code cell, I cannot directly write the sentences like this, right? So if you want to make this as a heading, you have to select heading, click on OK, and just press shift enter. Just press shift enter. So this becomes the heading. Now if you want to write any description, one line description for this program, one line description for this program, like I am performing addition operation on two variables. This is how you do in Python. So to make the one line description, you have to select this as markdown. Just execute this, click shift enter. So this became one line description. Now I want to write some points. Okay, one. And in the second point, what I would like to do is take a variable A. Third point, take a variable B. Third point. Fourth point, add A and B. Fifth point, add print variable C. This is the description that I would like to write. Just press shift enter. You can write in a point wise. For suppose if you want to write a paragraph, or suppose this is the paragraph, if you just execute this, this is coming in a single line, yes or no? So at that time you have to make it as raw NB convert. Now just execute this, everything got replaced with the raw content. This is how these code raw NB convert heading will be used. Now if suppose you want to make this as heading, just click this, select this particular sentence and select that as heading. Now this becomes the heading. Understood guys? Understood everyone? Yeah. Now here you have something like this, right? If suppose you want to restart and run the code again, if suppose you restart and run the code again, you can just click on this button. So it says restart and run the code again. This one is to restart your kernel. This option is to restart your kernel. So whenever you restart it, if you want to access this C, it says C is not defined because we have restarted the kernel. So this is to be executed again. So again, if you want to execute, select this cell, press shift enter, that gets executed. So restarting is nothing but clearing all the stuff, all the executed stuff which you have done earlier. Now here, this one is to stop execution. Stop execution. I'll tell you what is the stop execution within a few minutes. Now this one is to run the cell. So you can either select the cell and click on run, or you can use the shortcut shift enter. Shortcut shift enter. So here this one is to insert the cells below, move the cursor below, and this is to move the or select the cells above. You can see this. I'm selecting the cells with the help of arrows, right? This is to paste the cells. For suppose I have, this is to paste the cell, this is to copy the cell. I have selected this cell, copied it. I just scroll down and I want to paste the copied cell over here. Now at that time, I just use this cell. So the same thing will be pasted here. So this is to copy the cell. This is to paste the cell. Now if suppose you want to delete any of the cell, so just select that cell and click on this cross mark, the scissors. So that is nothing but you are deleting the cell. You want to add another cell, just click on this plus symbol. All right, so these are the different kinds of operations, or this is the console of your Jupyter notebook. So the shortcut for running a cell is shift enter. Now these cells have no number, but this cell has some number. What does that mean? The number indicates those many times you have executed the cell. So what I do is I'll just go to the kernel, click on restart and clear output. So outputs, and it will get restarted and there is no number in it. So first time I've executed this, the number is 1. If I execute twice, the number is 2. Thrice, the number is 3. So this number indicates how many times the cell is in how many times the cell is executed. The cells in the notebook are executed. And if you find a star mark over there, that means the cell is getting executed. If you find an empty braces over there, that means the cell is not executed. The cell is not executed. So here you have some other options also, like insert. So these options are there, right? Here we have some shortcuts, right? So those can be done even with the above things. All right. So kernel, widgets, help. If you want any help or so, you can make use of this help. And if you want to save this file as .py extension, you can directly download it as HTML or Markdown or PDF or Python.py. You can save this with any of the extensions. All right, guys. So this is about the console of your Jupyter notebook. So did everyone understand here how to use the Jupyter notebook? This is one way of opening the Jupyter notebook. Now let's open that from Anaconda prompt. So if you open Jupyter notebook through Anaconda Navigator, it is directly taking the directory as C drive, and all the files are stored in C drive only. I don't want my Jupyter files to be saved in C drive, and I want to use some other folder. Okay. So at that time, what you do, just close everything. If you want to open Jupyter notebook, I mean Anaconda Navigator from the desired directory, then you have to use Anaconda prompt so that all the files of your Jupyter notebooks will be there in that particular drive only. So here I want to make use of E drive. In that E drive, I will be creating a folder, and in that folder, I would like to save my Jupyter notebooks. So at that time, what I do is I open my Anaconda prompt. First of all, I have to change the drive. So how many of you know command prompt commands, guys? Like changing the directory, changing the drive, creating a folder, moving on to the folder. How many of you know about it? No answer. Okay. So now I want to open my Anaconda Jupyter notebook from E drive. So actually it is in C drive. If you see C uses Pradipti, I would like to open that in E drive. Alright. So at that time what I do is you just type E and colon, click on enter. E colon. So whenever if suppose if it is D drive, D colon. If you want to use F drive, F colon. Basically I don't have a F drive. If you want to use C drive, C colon. Okay. So now I would like to use E drive only. E colon. So from C drive, my drive got changed to E. Now here in E, I would like to create a new folder. So you can directly go to the E drive and create a new folder with the help of this. But I want to do that from the prompt itself so that you can know how to create a directory as well. All right. So how do you do is mkdir space June 10 rsip. So I want to make a directory June 10 rsip. So if you go to E drive, do you find that directory? See, I don't have. I only have Abalone, any name, CNN Flask, GNV Raju. Only these folders I have. I would like to create a folder name June 10 rsip. So I can make use of the command mkdir and the folder name. And this folder name should not have spaces. For suppose if you just add a space, two folders will be created, one folder with June 10 and other folder with rsip. So if you want to create only one folder, do not give any spaces, or you can give some hyphen or underscore to differentiate the folder words. Now just enter. So June 10 rsip will be created. Now let's see whether that is got created or not. So before I don't have that. Just refresh it. You got June 10 rsip. Now if you open this, this is an empty folder. Yes or no? Now I would like to redirect to this June 10 rsip. Now what I do, I would like to change the directory. How do you change it? cd space the name of the folder June 10 hyphen rsip, or you can also use tab to see what are all the folders that are there in the E drive. Now just click enter. Now that came into E June 10 RZIP. Yes. Now in this folder, I would like to open my Jupyter notebook. So at that time what I do, I'll just type the command Jupyter space notebook. Jupyter space notebook. Now my file got opened in the Jupyter June 10 RZIP. So if you see, it is an empty folder. The same thing, right? So do you have any files over here? No. So here also you will not find any folder. Now here I will create a Python file. So for that, Python 3, click on new, Python 3, change the name to Python Basics June 10. I just rename that. Now if you see here, the file got created, and let's see whether the file got created in E or not. Did you see Python Basics June 10 is created? IPYNB file, it is created, right? Now let's see the path of it. So what is the command to see the path, guys? What is the command to see the path? It is pwd. Now whenever I type pwd, the path should be E June 10 RZIP. Yes, have you seen this? Now whatever the files that you create, that will be stored in the E drive in the folder. Understood? So this is what about the console of your Jupyter notebook is.